Hey, everybody. Hey, Kayleigh. Hey, Erin.
Everyone.
It's so good to see everybody. Hey there, out there in the wonderful, fabulous FB land. How's it going? How are we all doing?
It's good. Feeling good.
Yeah, feeling good. That's great. We have 11 people watching so far. Hello there. We're so excited to see you. And we are presenting, what are we doing tonight?
Christmas Carol.
The Christmas Carol. We are presenting part deux is what we're doing, which is so exciting. Oh my gosh, we have some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful fun people that are in the show tonight. Kayleigh, can you tell us who some of those fun people might be tonight? Do we know? Oh, hi. Can you hear yet? Oh, awesome. Oh, I can't hear you though. That's the problem. But that's okay. We have some fantastic, fantastic, fun people tonight. We are joined by the Greater Valley Chamber of Commerce, which is so, so helpful, right? They do so much for the community. And of course, this is a community Christmas Carol is kind of what we're calling it. And the reason why we're calling it that is because we have so many community members is what we have that are in this, which is so neat. So, oh my gosh, we have some wonderful people. So we could hear a little bit of feedback over there, Kayleigh. My gosh. So Erin is, we're joined tonight by Erin Bennedum, who is on our board of directors too. Erin, what's it been like on the board this year with coronavirus and everything else going on?
It's been a lot of hard work. However, I cannot possibly say how proud I am of the Valley Shakespeare Board and Valley Shakespeare Festival, particularly for being able to continue to produce live theater, even in the midst of a pandemic. We worked so hard, I can say behind the scenes. I know it was evident at our production of Cyrano in the Park this summer, but the work that went on behind the scenes and how quickly and willingly and flexible everybody behind the scenes really was during all of that has just been really amazing. So as a board member, kind of working behind the scenes while all of that was going on was just really great to see everybody be able to do that so that we could continue to provide live theater to the public, which, there's a meme that goes around that it says, when things shut down, we turn to art. And it was just really great to be able to be a part of continuing to be able to provide that to people.
And we are part of the arts. Yeah, we're part of the arts here too, which is really wonderful. And we are still bringing the arts no matter which way we can. Now, a Christmas Carol we do every single year in the library, usually at the Plum Memorial Library. I know you've been to it, Erin. It's such a fun time.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love this story personally. I don't know about you. I know you were an English major.
I mean, it's kind of impossible not to. I'm a teacher by day, and I've been doing this story with my students, and every time I come back to it, and I know the story kind of by heart at this point, but every time I come back to it, I find something new in it. So this version in particular has been a lot of fun. Such a different way to do it that it's been just a lot of fun.
That's so cool. And we've been bringing in, like I said, community members there. We have some of them are in our audience tonight. We've got Nancie Gray there. Hi, Nancie. She played the role of the ghost of Christmas Past. Speaking of, I'm getting a little bit like the ghost of Christmas Past out already. I promised my wonderful people out there that I would make a cocktail of sorts. How many of us feel good about that so far, about grabbing a cocktail, which would be great? So no? Yes?
Yes.
Do we get yes out there? I don't see enough people in the chat. Chat with us, everyone. We're making cocktails. So I'm going to show us what we're doing. We're doing a pomegranate. I love pomegranates at this time of year. They're so good. I love the tartness of them, but I also need to put a little bit of sweet to it. So I have a cocktail shaker. It is already full of, thank you, David. It is already full of ice is what it is. I'm going to put myself a little bit more onto the screen if you don't mind. It's already full of ice. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some pomegranate seeds and also with a little bit of the juice is what we're going to do. And I'm going to put that in there and I'm going to muddle it in there just a bit with the ice and everything. Really, really, really get it in there. Yes, a hot cider is going to be needed soon. After that, I'm going to add in my a little bit of sugar, just a half a teaspoon, sweeten it up a little bit. Of course, a little, tiny little splash of water, and a whole bunch of course, bourbon. So I'm going to put in about 2 ounces of that. It makes only one, but I might make 2 of these. Don't tell anyone. Which is really great. Yes, it is beginning to look a lot like cocktails already, is what it is. And I've got excellent idea. Cheers. After I've done that, I'm going to take a little bit of Angostura bitters. This is a old-fashioned, is basically what I'm making. A pomegranate old-fashioned. Once I have my bitters, I'm going to give it a couple shakes in there is what I'm going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like it bitter. Not that I'm bitter. And then from there, I am going to put this on the top, give it a shake, wait for that condensation to come on. Shake, shake, shake. We all shake along with me. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We got to get this started somehow. And then I am going to pour in my wonderful cocktail glass that I got from a wonderful wedding. It says my name on it and everything. Isn't that just the most prettiest little pink shade that you've ever seen there? And you could garnish it with a couple more pomegranate seeds, or also a nice orange too as well. So Kayleigh and Erin, hello, welcome back, and cheers to everybody.
Cheers.
And let's see if it is delicious, Jim. All right. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna need to make another one of these. So this is great. Is what it is. So, so Erin, can you tell us a little bit more of what it's like to be on the board? You've been on the board now for 2 years, right?
I have. It's a lot of, our board of directors is a group of people who really believe in the mission of Valley Shakespeare Festival. We spend our time, kind of the behind the scenes of what the board does. We spend our time kind of getting ready to be able to put the show on for the summer. We work with the tour when we're able to, and hopefully, knock wood, we will be able to do that again soon with everybody, because I know everybody. I know I miss it. I'm sure everybody else misses it too.
Yeah. So
basically what we do is we work behind the scenes. We work on building the relationships with our community. We work on fundraising. We work on kind of building up all of the structures that need to be in place in order to be able to perform for the public. And while it is a lot of hard work, it is so rewarding to just kind of be able to, work on those bones and structure of this organization so that we can continue to provide these things for everybody, because that's really, we can't do it without this group of people working together and working with Tom. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, but it's also very rewarding.
And we're so lucky. And we're so lucky to have such a great community behind us too. Mm-hmm. Like I said, tonight we have the greater community, the greater business chamber, which is really exciting. Sorry, I got it out there. Maybe I've had one of these beforehand. I haven't. I'm so thankful to Bill Purcell, who's going to be playing the role tonight of, yay! We have a wonderful group tonight. We have, like I said, Bill Purcell playing the role of Fezziwig. And we also do have the wonderful Nancie Gray as the ghost of Christmas Past. And then too, after that, we're gonna be having the voice talents of our own board with Erin Bennedum as Belle, who is Scrooge's almost becomes Scrooge's wife. And then we have the role of his sister, which I think is so cute, Fan, played by the wonderful Becca Toms. So we're really going to have a fun night tonight, I think. We have people watching. Nancie Gray is watching with her friends. I hope that you're all watching with your friends, loved ones, dear ones. And I hope you either have a hot cider with you or just something with you to keep on going. I mean, I can't believe we're going to be getting snow soon. Now, we do normally do a lot of our programs, they are for free. They are not free to put on, as we always say. A $10 donation is always helpful. I'm sure that'll be in the chat soon. But are we ready to start?
Very excited.
Ready to start and listen up a little bit to some Christmas Carol. This is part 2, like I said. Beforehand, I'll set us on up. We met Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge, who is the stingiest, meanest man that is in town. What happens from there is Scrooge is visited We also meet his business partner, the clerk, Bob Cratchit, and we also meet his nephew, Fred. And Fred's going to come on up a little bit in this one, so listen up. Also, we're going to have the wonderful, also in this episode, what ends up happening is we had the wonderful Jacob Marley. Jacob Marley was saying that we have only 3 ghosts that are coming in. And tonight we're going to be visited by our first ghost, is what we're going to be visited by. Our first ghost, who is, of course, played by the wonderful Nancie Gray. And we're going to meet some people that made, I always said that made Scrooge who he kind of might have is. We're going to see that he had a really hard relationship with his father. And then we're also going to see too, kind of also like Dickens did. Dickens had a very rough relationship with his father. His father was a debtor. His father was in debtor's prison. Actually, it's funny because Dickens ended up becoming an apprentice, and we do talk about apprentices in this episode because we get to see him as an apprentice to Fezziwig, and how wonderful Fezziwig treated everybody, right? And then, of course, we get to see the sadness of his relationship with Belle. I'm not going to give anything away, but we hope that you enjoy. We're going to be here. Please chat along with us. We'll be talking to you, and like I said, keep with the chat, and thank you all so much. Are we ready? I'm going to have to share my screen. All right. And I am going to do this, and here we go. Can we hear?
When Scrooge awoke, it was so dark that looking out of bed, he could scarcely distinguish the transparent window from the opaque walls of his chamber. Suddenly, the church clock tolled a deep, dull, hollow, melancholy 1. Light flashed up in the room upon the instant, and the curtains of his bed were drawn aside by a strange figure, like a child, yet not so like a child as like an old man, viewed through some supernatural medium and being diminished to a child's proportions. Its hair, which hung about its neck and down its back, was white, as if with age, and yet the face had not a wrinkle in it, and the tenderest bloom was on the skin. It held a branch of fresh green holly in its hand, and in singular contradiction of the wintry emblem, had its dress trimmed with summer flowers. Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past.
No, your past. The things that you will see with me are shadows of the things that have been. They will have no consciousness of us.
Scrooge then made bold to inquire what business brought him there.
Your welfare. Rise and walk with me.
It would have been in vain for Scrooge to plead that the weather and the hour were not adapted to pedestrian purposes, that he was clad but lightly in his slippers, dressing gown, and nightcap. The grasp, though gentle as a woman's hand, was not to be resisted. He rose, but finding that the spirit made towards the window, grabbed its robes in supplication. I am mortal and liable to fall.
Bear but a touch of my hand there, and you shall be upheld in more than this.
And as these words were spoken, they passed through the wall and stood upon an open country road, with fields on either hand. It was clear, cold winter day, with snow upon the ground. Good heaven! I was bred in this place. I was a boy here.
You recollect the way?
Remember it. I could walk it blindfold. They walked along the road. Scrooge recognized every gate and post and tree until a little market town appeared in the distance with its bridge, its church, and winding river. Some shaggy ponies now were seen trotting towards them, with boys upon their backs who called to other boys in country gigs and carts, driven farmers. All these boys were in great spirits and shouted to each other until the broad fields were so full of merry music that the crisp air laughed to hear it. Scrooge knew and named everyone. Why was he rejoiced upon all bounds to see them? Why did his cold eye glisten and his heart leap up as they went past? Why was he filled with gladness when he heard them give each other Merry Christmas as they parted at crossroads and byways for their several homes? What was Merry Christmas to Scrooge? Out upon Merry Christmas. What good had it ever done to him? The school is not quite deserted. A solitary child neglected by his friends is left there still. They left the high road by a well-remembered lane and soon approached a mansion of dull red brick. It was a large house, spacious offices with walls that were damp and mossy. They entered a bare, melancholy room, made barer still by lines of plain deal forms and desks. At one of these, a lonely boy was reading near a feeble fire, intent upon his reading. Scrooge looked at the ghost, and with a mournful shaking of his head, glanced anxiously towards the door. It opened, and a little girl, much younger than the boy, came darting in, and pulling her arms around his neck and often kissing him, addressed him as her
Dear, dear brother, I've come to bring you home, dear brother Ebenezer, to bring you home, home, home.
home, little Fan.
Yes, home for good and all, home forever and ever. Father is so much kinder than he used to be. Home's like heaven. He spoke so gently to me one dear night when I was going to bed that I was not afraid to ask him once more if you might come home, and he said, yes, you should, and sent me in a coach to bring you. And you're to be a man and never come back here, but first we're to be together all Christmas long and have the merriest in all the world.
You were quite a little woman, Fan.
Bring down Mr. Scrooge's box there.
Always a delicate creature, whom a breath might have withered, but she had a large heart.
So she had. You're right. I will not gainsay it, Spirit. God forbid.
She died a woman. I had, as I think, children?
One child.
True, your nephew, Fred.
Yes. They passed through the wall. They now stood in the busy thoroughfares of a city, where shadowy passengers passed and repassed, where shadowy carts and coaches battled for the way, and all the strife and tumult of a real city were. It was made plain enough by the dressings of the shops there that here, too, it was Christmas time. The ghost stopped at a certain warehouse door and asked Scrooge if he knew it. Know it? I apprenticed here. They went in. At the sight of an old gentleman in a Welsh wig sitting behind a high desk, Scrooge cried in great excitement, Why, it's old Fezziwig! Bless his heart, it's Fezziwig! Alive again! Old Fezziwig laid down his pen and looked up at the clock, which pointed to the hour of 7. He rubbed his hands, adjusted his capricious waistcoat, laughed all over himself, and called out in a comfortable, oily, rich, fat, jovial voice.
Yo-ho there, Ebenezer, and Dick!
A living and moving picture of Scrooge's former self as a young man came briskly in, accompanied by his fellow prentice. Dick Wilkins, to be sure! Oh, my old fellow prentice, bless me, yes! There he is! He was very much attached to me, was Dick. Oh, poor Dick, dear, dear.
Yo-ho, my boys, no more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Dick. Christmas, Ebenezer. Ha ha! Let's have the shutters up before a man can say Jack Robinson. Clear away, my lads. Let's leave lots of room here.
It was done in a minute. Every movable was packed off, the floor was swept and watered, the lamps were trimmed, fuel was heaped upon the fire, and the warehouse was as snug and warm and dry and bright a ballroom as you would desire to see upon a winter's night. In came a fiddler with a music book, and went up to the lofty desk and made an orchestra of it. In came Mrs. Fezziwig, one vast substantial smile. In came the 3 Miss Fezziwigs, beaming and lovable. In came all the young men and women employed in the business, some shyly, some boldly, some gracefully, some awkwardly, some pushing, some pulling. In they all came anyhow and everyhow. There were dances, and there were forfeits, and more dances, and there was cake, and there were negus, and there was a great piece of cold roast, and there was a great piece of cold boiled, and there were mince pies and plenty of beer. But the greatest effect of the evening came when the fiddler struck up Sir Roger de Coverley. Then old Fezziwig stood out to dance with Miss Fezziwig. Top couple, too, and with a good piece of work cut out for them. But if they had been twice as many 4 times, old Fezziwig would have been a match for them, and so would Mrs. Fezziwig. As to her, she was worthy to be his partner in every sense of the term. When the clock struck 11, this domestic ball broke up. Mr. and Mrs. Fezziwig took their stations, one on either side of the door, and shaking hands with every person as he or she went out, wished them a Merry Christmas. When everybody had retired, but the two prentices, they did the same to them, and thus the cheerful voices died away, and the lads were left to their beds, which were under a counter in the back shop.
A small matter?
Said the ghost.
To make those silly folks too full of gratitude, he has spent but a few pounds of your mortal money, 3 or 4 perhaps. Is that so much that he deserves this praise?
It isn't that, Spirit. It isn't that. He has the power to render us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. The happiness he gives is quite as real as if it cost, well, a fortune.
What's the matter?
Nothing particular.
Something, I think.
No. I should like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk, Bob Cratchit, just now. That's all.
My time grows short. Quick.
Scrooge saw himself again. He was older now, a man in the prime of his life. He was not alone, but sat by the side of a fair young girl in a morning dress in whose eyes there were tears.
It matters little, to you very little. Another idol has displaced me.
What idol has displaced you?
A golden one. You fear the world too much, Ebenezer. I have seen your nobler aspirations fall off one by one until the master passion gain engrosses you. Have I not?
What then? Even if I have grown so much wiser, what then? I am not changed towards you. Am I? Have I ever sought release from our engagement?
In words, no, never.
In what then?
In a changed nature, in an altered spirit, another hope as its great end. If you were free today, tomorrow, yesterday, could even I believe that you would choose a dowerless girl? Do I not know that your repentance and regret would surely follow? I do, and I release you with a full heart for the love of him you once were.
Spirit, remove me from this place.
I told you these were the shadows of the things that have been, that they are what they are. Do not blame me.
Remove me. I cannot bear it. Leave me. Take me back. Haunt me no longer. As he struggled with the spirit, he was conscious of being exhausted and of being in his own bedroom. He had barely the time to reel to bed before he sank into a heavy sleep.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
And all right, so we are so excited to have everybody here. Hello again. Oh, Erin, how was that? Hey, Kayleigh. Make sure
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Oh, that's great.
Hey.
We did it. I know it's one of our shorter. I have to plug in my computer a little bit. Sorry, everyone.
All right.
Lost Tom a little.
Right. Oh, I am.
Watch it, or for listening and watching.
Yeah, if you're listening or watching, we hope that you enjoyed it so much. I know, Erin, wow, we are hearing. Oh, Kayleigh, thank you very much for those wonderful words.
Yeah.
Also, Nancie, thank you, Nancie, for being such a big supporter of this. So, Erin, what was it like having to do this? Like, how quickly did we work and everything else too?
Yeah, it was so efficient. I was really, I was a little bit worried with the being online aspect that would really kind of throw a wrench in everything, but it was so efficient. And I couldn't get over how much like Bill and Nancie, and I know all of the other people that have been involved so far have been so enthusiastic about being a part of this, that it was really a lot of fun. I have to say it was kind of nice to be in the comfort of our own homes while doing this. But it was a lot of fun, and it went really smoothly and really well. And everybody just sounds so wonderful online.
Nice. Oh, very cool. So when are we going to get part 3? I mean, I think people are really excited, right, Kayleigh? Are we going to look at Sunday maybe for part 3? Is it
It is pretty much, my part is almost complete. I have laid out all the editing pieces. So I have now put it up onto our broadcasting system. Tom adds a few more things and makes it really shine. And then we'll be able to announce it on Sunday. And then our last episode will be following that fairly quickly. Because we want to get all this out before Christmas.
Which is great. So, thank you, Erin, so much for being with us during this. This was so much fun.
This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for everybody that's joining us.
Thank you all very much for joining. I hope that you have a wonderful evening. Again, you could listen to part 1 if you haven't to yet on Bard on the Pod, which is our podcast. You could find that at our website, www.vsfestival. Thank you so much to Bill Purcell and Nancie Gray for being a part of this. Also to Erin and Rebecca too. Thank you so much. Everyone did such a great job. Thank you. Have a good night. Have a few of these if you're not driving. Thank you all very much. Enjoy.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.